Hi friends, how's everybody doing? Last week we talked about dinosaurs because they were reptiles. They're no longer here, but we were talking about reptiles and then dinosaurs, which were reptiles. And this week we're going to talk about a different kind of animal, an amphibian. What? An amphibian, what is that? Well, an amphibian is a different kind of animal, like a frog or a salamander, and they have to have special qualities and characteristics as well. Remember when the reptiles, do you remember what kind of skin they had? Scaly, dry skin, and they had a backbone, and they had lungs, and they were cold-blooded. Well, to be an amphibian, there are a lot of the same things, but there are some different things as well. So I wanted to tell you about that today. Here is a poster of amphibians. Now, in order to be an amphibian, you need to have smooth, moist skin, not scaly and rough. So the skin is different. So a reptile has dry, scaly skin, and an amphibian has smooth, moist skin. Now, they both have backbones. Most amphibians have a backbone. They're also cold-blooded, like the reptiles, but the amphibians live part of their life in water and part of their life on land. So there's two things that make them different than a reptile. Number one, their skin is different. Remember, it's smoother and it's a little bit moist. That means it's kind of wet and damp. And they start their life, most of them, in the water, and then they end up on the land. And they can go in the water and on the land. So for example, you guys all know about a frog. Now a frog has really smooth, moist skin. And when he starts out, he's a little egg and a tadpole in the water. And then as he grows up and becomes a frog, then he's on land. But he could also go in the water if he'd want to. Now, a toad has bumps on his skin. It's not super smooth, but his skin is moist. It doesn't have scales. So a toad is also an amphibian. Now look at this one. Looks like a snake, doesn't it? But it is a caecilian. And the reason he's an amphibian and not a snake has to do with his skin. What kind of skin does an amphibian need to be an amphibian? That's right, smooth or moist, smooth skin. He doesn't have scales like a snake. So you know it's not an amphibian. He's not a reptile. He's an amphibian. There's also salamanders. They look kind of like a lizard, but the same thing for them. Their skin is not scaly and dry like a lizard. It's more moist and wet. And remember, a lot of these guys start out in the water. That's part of the reason that they are an amphibian. And we're going to talk more about them this week. And I'm going to teach you about the life cycle of a frog and see what? They start out in water? Yep. That's one of the things that makes them an amphibian. All right, so if you happen to be out and about and you see some creatures, make sure you check out their skin. And you could tell, is it a reptile with scaly skin? Or could it be an amphibian with kind of smooth skin. Okay, friends, I'll talk to you later. Have a great day.